So I was an athlete for my whole life. I played soccer, and I was born with flat feet, so a little girl with orthopedic shoes, me. And what ended up happening is that after walking 8 hours a day in these bad shoes that I had, it was getting silly, you're walking on rocks. It's not, it's not treated ground. It's very wild terrain. And what ended up happening is the skin was totally ripped off the bottom of my feet. And so, long story short, as you can imagine, it's like your feet are trapped in these shoes, okay?
Yeah.
They can only move so much.
Right.
And so they're really bound, and you're really constricted. And your skin is raw, your bones are raw, your muscles are raw. And so that means that you're extremely aware of every sensation that's coming in through the soles of your feet, okay? Well, the energy only can travel upwards. So I remember one day we're walking across the desert in the middle of this thing called La Meseta, and it was a rich blue Spanish sky with golden wheat surrounding us.
Sounds like the beginning of a poem.
This is where the songs come from, okay? And all of a sudden, all the pain went away, the maximum amount of pain that I could have had.
Right.
And, after this whole experience, I was kind of left, I was stripped of all of this, all of these kind of cravings that I had, all these desires, all of these expectations, all of this pressure, jealousy, and those kind of feelings. As a girl, I had to work kind of really hard at things I wanted. And after this trip, I realized, you know what? I'm free. I don't need to have all these things binding me.
Did you find that it changed the way that you wrote your songs as well? Were you able
Well,
to
this changed my life completely. So after that, really what happened was that I realized for the first time that this was also the things that the Buddha was kind of teaching. And so instead of going to Brazil, I ended up going to a Buddhist country, and that was Thailand. And that's where the Asian story started.
Right. Because you were planning on going to Brazil and you ended up in Thailand. Now, we'll come back to this later, but your whole family lives there now.
Yeah, minus my brother.
Minus your brother. Where does he live?
D.C.
You guys are really spread out.
Yeah.
That's different.
So I want to hear a little bit of music. And then you were telling me before the show you really want to play. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot because you said you knew what you were going to play. But you want to play a Spanish song? Or no?
Oh, I wasn't going to start with that one.
Okay, well then don't.
We'll do that one after?
Afterwards.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to introduce it?
well, I guess a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
This is a song from my album.
What's the name of your album?
Sands of Time.
And that's the album that just came out.
Yes, about a year ago. Made in Thailand.
Time's relative.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I'm 30 now, so yeah, it's pretty much like yesterday.
All over.
I made the album in this small village up in the mountains of northern Thailand. And my only stipulation for the place to record was that it had to be all made of wood.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
and so it was all made of bamboo. Like even the sink was made of wood. And this is my favorite sink in the whole wide world. And, this place just really inspired me so much that I originally planned on recording all these old songs that I had. But it was such an amazing place that I just got into this little bamboo bungalow that I called Three Bridges, because it took 3 bridges to get there from the center of town. And so I just started writing new ones. And this is one of the ones that I ended up writing there. And it's a song called More Than I. Here it is. More than I can say, more than I can be. love, but I know we'll come again. More than I can say, honey, it's more than I can be. More than I can say, I'm the key that keeps him lost. And more than I can be, cry to eyes that know me not, 'cause I have heard of pain, and I've heard of trouble's gain. Now I can hear him flap his wings out loud, but I know he'll come again. More than I can say, but honey, it's more than I can be. 'Cause I have heard of the fear of apology for what is not now, and I believe in the words of the wondering of why it's not so hard to climb, to find an end to the suffering of our time. More than I can say, honey, it's more than I can be.
Thank you so much. That was Michelle Stewart singing a song from her album, Sands of Time. What's the title of the tune again?
That track's called More Than I.
More Than I. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank
Really
you.
wonderful.
Thank you
Wonderful
very much.
song. We need to take a quick little break. Before we do that, I'm sure that Ken has some words for us.
Well, I do. Thanks for bringing that beautiful 12-string guitar with you, Michelle. That's awesome.
Cool.
And it sounds wonderful. You're listening to Writing on the Air, and we're in the first week of our 2-week membership drive. And if you're a new member, we're especially inviting you to make your pledge of support and your call of appreciation to this wonderful team of people that bring you not only information about the craft, but the craft itself, like the song you just heard. And the number to call, we have volunteers waiting by to take your call. It'll only take a minute, especially if you use...
I think an outstanding song from her album, Sands of Time, and she's doing something really delicate right now. Maybe we should hold your guitar if you'd like.
No, it's okay, it's okay. I'm here.
Where can folks who just listened to you sing that amazing song, where can they learn a little bit more about you and maybe find your album?
Yeah, well, I've got a website, it's michellestewartmusic.com, and you can find the album online on iTunes, Spotify, and all that stuff, as well as Waterloo Records.
So the cool thing about your site as well is it gives a little sound bite too. So I kept listening to the sound bites this week, which is kind of addictive. But also, if you are looking for her site, Stewart is spelled Stewart. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Stewart's covered.
So I kind of want to get an idea of how you go about creating music and how you also write in Spanish as well.
Yes.
So I'd like to know, because this is very interesting to me, if your process is different when you're using a different language, like your thought process and your creative process, is one language more magical, more dreamy than the other? Is the other language possibly more grounded, more down to earth? how the language affecting your creativity. But let's start there. But first, let's start with the general process. And I'm
We're so curious.
I'm moving my hands around. I'm trying to put like 15 things into one question. This is becoming too complicated. So just answer whatever you want, Michelle.
Maybe we can change the subject. So I read some Spanish, and I think that for me, the difference between Spanish and English is innate in the language itself. And, you know, Spanish is considered a Romance language, okay? And so it's very, you know, kind of flowery, very poetic, and for me, I find it very easy to write in from a more poetic stance in Spanish. But when I translate to English, I don't really know how I got there. You know, I wouldn't know how I would have gotten there in English.
Okay.
But I have to say, you know, when I'm writing in English, I write in English, and I'm not thinking in Spanish. You know, so I keep them separate.
Interesting, okay.
So I'm not, when I write in Spanish, I'm not thinking in English, I'm thinking in Spanish. But I'd say the source is the same.
So from either language, the source is, I mean, obviously the source is you, and it's your imagination.
Yeah, this kind of thing called inspiration.
Is there a type of song you prefer to write in Spanish than in English?
A type of song?
Yeah, is there
I don't know.
Feeling that you tend to lean
Like you were
towards,
saying-
I feel this and so I want to express it and so I'm going to choose Spanish versus English, or?
No.
Okay.
Songs come to
Yeah.
me and I make them happen.
Okay. So they come to you in Spanish
And in English.
and in English?
Yeah, so this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. I was thinking about it last night.
Yeah.
And for me, I consider it two types of writing. I'd say one is called passive writing and one is called active writing.
Okay.
And I guess I tend to lean more towards the passive side. And for me, what that means is that you set your mind aside. You stop thinking. You find a quiet place. And the way that I do it is that I literally feel inside of my body any kind of sensation that's there. And what I then do is hear how it's translated into sound. Okay?
Okay.
And so, let's say I feel something in my chest, like in my heart region or something like that, and it gives me this kind of like an oh sound, okay? Well, what is that oh sound? That oh sound has to lead into another sound.
Right.
And so that's how the words are formed. And I'm not thinking about what word I want to say.
Right.
I'm feeling what kind of word I want to say.
So it's kind of like you move into a meditation state
Yeah.
and then express that meditation via music and lyrics.
Yes. Yeah. And so sometimes,
In Spanish and then also in English.
yes.
That's kind of cool.
And so it's, I guess in times, you know, there's certain instances where the song can go many places, but other times it kind of just stays the same and kind of turns into this kind of like a mantra thing, you know? So that's the passive writing, okay? And then I think there's something else called active writing, and that's where your mind is in control, and you're thinking about what you want to say, and thinking about what maybe you should do, what you should say, how you should approach the song.
So once you, I'm sorry, Marissa.
So real quick question. When you think about your passive writing and you think about your active writing, do you find that passive tends to come out as Spanish, or do you see like a pattern at all where it comes out more the other, or is it kind of irrelevant?
It usually comes out in English.
Okay.
Because this is how I'm living my life.
Okay.
You know, my life is in English.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But I wanted to say, just as a songwriter, there's some songs that I kind of just write for me and anyone who's interested in listening to it.
Yeah.
But then I also write songs where I put the passive and active together, because I believe that in the world today, in order to make songs that are easily understood by people, we need to draw on things that people are already kind of used to listening to.
Yeah.
okay? It can't be too weird, it can't be too strange, because then it's not very accessible to the ear, you know? And so I feel like there's a certain degree of familiarity that needs to happen, and I think that happens through the things we've already heard, you know, so things we can draw on from our memories,
Okay.
you know? And I think that that's kind of, for me, I guess my equation would be like 75% passive, 25% active, you know?
How much do you think that the passive writing has been impacted by your travels in Asia?
Very much so, very, very much so. But I have my parents to thank for a life that, where travel started before I could even walk.
Right.
Okay, so I don't remember the first time that we went across Europe in a backpack.
Right.
You know, but Asia is definitely this place where you're living in the now.
Mm-hmm.
You have no choice. You know, it's just the way it is. And so you're forced into this lifestyle, and you're forced to get rid of all these things that you want to make happen, all these expectations and predispositions and things like that.
I like the idea of you saying that, you know, 80% or 75% is passive and the rest is active. So you let the song come out through meditation, the poetry of the lyrics as well as the music, and it's very physical. And then you edit the work, and then you work on it, and then you sculpt it afterwards. Because your work is really clean, and it's been worked. I mean, and it's beautiful. So, I mean, if it comes out that way, God, more power to you. But
yeah, let's see. I'll say two things. One is that it's something that a friend of mine said, a Russian American friend, and that her father told her. Her father was a writer, and he said, anything worth writing is worth writing only once. And so write the first time, and this is something that always stuck with me. And so really, I think that in my experience, it's that when you really do open yourself up and really do trust these feelings and are able to accept what the sounds are and allow yourself to go that way, the song is the way it is, and you don't really have to edit it because it just is the way it is.
But that works if you're good, and if you have a grasp of
If you
the
suck, it
language.
doesn't work.
Right, exactly.
That's the warning.
And the other thing is, I want to say that, and it's a funny way of saying it, but if you keep doing it for years and years and years, then you might actually become good eventually, right? Unless there's no hope for you.
Yeah.
You just have a lot of first rights that you don't necessarily share broadly.
But you know, I feel like this translates to anything we do. It's like trust your feeling and go and allow yourself to go with it, and then it will be okay. It will be fine, and it will be perfect, just the way it is.
I like that. So, I mean, I do my own work completely differently, but I do like that idea. No,
That's not different.
They're laughing at me, but it's true. I can appreciate the way some...
10 years.
It's because you're earthbound, Francois. You're a Virgo. So when is your sun sign? That's what I need to know.
I'm Pisces. I just had a birthday the 24th.
Oh, yeah. She's going to go with the flow no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm Aries too, so you know, I can relate.
Okay.
So, Ken, what do? We need these phone lines to be ringing. What's going on?
We do. Call us, folks. Tell us what your sun sign is, and tell us how much money you can afford to give to this non-commercial radio station. Do it. No, I'm kidding. Simone and Ken are out there. They're feeding their faces with barbecue, and we need kids that keep them busy on the phones. And we're looking for our first call of support at whatever level.
Stewart today, who is a world traveler, a poet, and a musician, a troubadour, gypsy troubadour. Michelle, you were kind of singing a second song for us tonight.
Yeah, let me just make sure we're all
She's
here.
strapping her guitar on and making sure that it's doing this. 12 strings. There's a lot of strings. That's a lot of strings. Is it difficult to play 12 strings rather than just the normal? What's the normal amount?
Six.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Okay.
You want to introduce what you're going to play for us?
Well, yeah, I actually just found out today that one of my favorite artists in the whole entire world passed today. It's Paco de Lucia, the famous Spanish flamenco guitarist. And I don't know, I was raised with his music, and it touches my soul. And
Isn't there a flamenco over here this week in Austin,
I don't know.
Yeah.
If so, let me know.
There is. I don't know. But I don't know where or what, but there is.
Narissa is on her phone right now and figuring it out.
Yeah, so I'm just going to sing the song in Spanish. It's called La Nube, and it's a song about love and going to hidden places and trusting your heart and all this kind of stuff. And I just wanted to sing it today. I wasn't planning on singing it, but I think that now that you know this Pablo Lucia has gone, I want to sing it as a tribute to him. So I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What you were describing, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was Michelle Stewart. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Francois, and everybody here having me.
This song is not on your album.
This one is not yet to be recorded, but coming out shortly. I've got an EP planned out to come, I'm going to say before the 31st of May.
Yeah, so this is a good conversation. What's coming up next? What are you working on now?
So in Thailand, I invest in some equipment, and so I do these recordings from wherever I am, kind of thing. Like, they listen to the album, and I record in different spots, and right now I'm just recording here at home. And you can find the stuff if we connect, you know. I've got this all posted on SoundCloud and stuff like that.
Do you ever work with other musicians?
I do. I've worked with percussionists here and abroad, guitarists, anyone really. Yeah.
Are we going to be able to see
I'm still confirming some dates,
Okay.
but that means that you should connect with me online.
Yes, it does. That means that you should go to the Facebook page.
Which is Michelle Stewart Music. It's really easy, that's the website.
Super easy.
Yeah, SoundCloud is Michelle Music,
Yeah.
so it's all there.
And you have a lot of songs that are available online for people to just listen to.
Yes.
I guess it's on SoundCloud, I put it on your channel, and it just kept on and on. I figured you would have one or two songs for people just to find out what you're about, and then, get your CD if they wanted it, but instead it just goes on and on. I mean, you're very generous with your music.
I want people to hear it. I don't want to make it, so I just hope they enjoy it. That's really all.
That's really cool. Ken, do we have anything to say?
Well, I hope she does another gig at Kick Butt Coffee, because they're a brand-new business member of Co-op, and a lot of my other friends play there. Was it a nice gig the other day?
Yeah, great. Really enjoyed
It seems like a very cool venue, and I know
Yeah.
they've got great food and great coffee, so. No, we're just looking for your call of support, or perhaps you know someone who would be interested in this program, and you forgot to tell them about Writing on the Air every Wednesday at 6, followed by Singer in the Song. Some wonderful talent here in Austin, and it's on display because it's part of your community here at 91.7 FM and worldwide at KOP.org.
I think one of the things to remember is that when you make a gift to Co-op, you are helping to support the programming that goes on the air, both over 91.7 and also on the interwebs. I'm pretty sure those things are going to take off pretty soon.
Yep.
But it's important to note that every show is being done by volunteers. It's not being done by folks who are getting paid to put together a show, have an idea, invite guests on, pull out records and CDs, and in some cases tape cassettes, which blows my mind, to put together a music show that is something that you can listen to in the car or at home, or if you're like me, you've got it stuck in your earbud while you're working. The stuff that comes out of Co-op is being done by volunteers, and they're folks just like you who were listening to the radio and said, hey, it'd be really cool to learn how to do that or be a part of that community. So your gift is helping to keep lights on, to keep us on the airwaves for when we fail to effectively dump a curse word to help pay for FCC charges, which I don't think we have one. Aaron just gave a really bad look at me. But remember that when you make a gift, you're making a gift to community members, and directly to community members and to directly support the programming that you listen to on Co-op.
And then there's the whole training program, which is a whole other conversation. Liz Lopez is in here as an apprentice, and one of these days we're hoping she'll apply to do a program too. And so there you have it. That's the whole legacy and the process that we have, and we know that it means something to you. And if it has improved the quality of your life here in Austin, Texas, then call us and let us know. 512-472-5667. If you've enjoyed Michelle's performance tonight and some insight, let us know that too. And if you want to call in a request, somebody that you'd like to see on Writing on the Air, I know that this team, this crack team, is open to your input. So let us hear from you. Again, we're running out of time, too. It's almost 7 here for the next program, and we're going to the internet for Singer in the Song. So we hope you'll stay tuned. But it would be absolutely wonderful for us to thank you on the air because you called 512-472-5667 and said, yeah, I'd like to come down just for 1 hour sometime and be part of the Writing on the Air team. $60 is the minimum that it'll take. And at $120, you can get the new Co-op seasonal T-shirt and our download CD, our first ever exclusively available through Co-op Radio, Performances CD, 22 different songs, and be part of the team.
Will they get their name in the hat for South By?
At the $120 a year, $10 a month level for sustaining us, yes, they do, Francois, you're right.
Support for Co-op.
And we are back on Writing on the Air. And don't forget the phone number, 512-472-5667. Give us a call. We need your support. This is how we stick around and do this great show week after week after week. We get to talk with wonderfully talented people like Michelle Stewart and so many other guests that we've had on the show. We get to these are, most of the people that we interview here, we do a few phone interviews, but most of the people we interview are people from the community. They're poets and writers and novelists and singer-songwriters. Basically, what I like to say is storytellers. That's what we bring on the show, is storytellers from the community that we're projecting out to all of you guys. So if you appreciate that, please give us a call, 512-472-5667, or donate online at koop.org. Michelle, we have time for another song, which is awesome. Do you want to introduce your next song?
Sure. It's a song called The River. It was written through some inspiration I got from memories of when I was a girl in Ecuador, the woman washing her hair by the river, and had a kind of spiritual experience. So this is what we go. I washed in the river, and I prayed to the Master. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to be on my favorite station in Austin. No, I'm always on, you guys are on the dial all the time. So. Seriously.
91.7 FM?
91.7 FM.
And then your web thing, KOOP.org.
And who invented that again? What's his name?
It's not Al Gore. I'm not getting started. Boy.
So again, we've been talking with and listening to the songs of Michelle Stewart. Her album that's been out for a little bit now, it's called Sands of Time, and you're working on a new album. When's that coming out?
This new compilation I'm hoping will be out by the end of May.
The end of May.
That's
Wow.
soon.
Yeah. I'll work fast.
Okay. You seem nice and calm about it, which is good.
Yeah, I don't like to push things too much, then they get frustrated.
Yeah. So it's interesting, are most of the songs in the new album, are they things that you wrote here?
Yeah. There are a lot of things that I've written since I've arrived in Austin
Yeah.
that I want to share with the people here in Austin.
Very cool.
Soon.
Yeah.
So you're a fast creator because you've only been back 1 year and you've already got enough material for a whole album. I think that's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I write a lot.
But
I write a
she
lot.
talked about her process is very much about finding that part of yourself and
Letting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Sometimes it's really fast, you know.
And I want to remind our listeners that you're listening to Writing on the Air, and we still need you to call at 512-472-5667, and we will be back next week. Thank you so much for